again from me, Derek, in South Wales in the United Kingdom. We're now into March and we've got the warmer weather to looking forward to. It's certainly getting lighter in the evenings and there's really everything to look forward to. I survived the winter thanks to my specialist who's helped me by giving me long-term antibiotics, and I obviously had the flu jab at the beginning of the winter season. Now, what I want to talk today is about pollen, because many, like me, as we come out of winter, we think, yippee, we've got everything to look forward to. I survived the winter, great, I'm going to enjoy the summer, and then wham, we're hit with bad breathing. Normally here in the UK in March, it'd be different times in other parts of the world, in the northern hemisphere, and obviously different months entirely. It's the opposite in the southern hemisphere. But what I'm talking about is tree pollen. As tree pollen gets around, with me, elm affects me badly. It's one of the first to come out. My breathing gets bad and I have great problems with it, and it has actually put me in hospital. I found out after a while about this, so I now use an antihistamine. Antihistamines are absolutely marvellous. They don't make you sleepy and they work absolutely wonderfully. If you believe that you are having problems with pollen of any kind that's making you bad as you leave the winter and go into the spring towards the summer, then trot along to the pharmacy and ask if you can have an antihistamine. Not expensive to buy. Make sure that there's no interactions with any other tablets that you're taking, and then take one of those a day and you should have no problems at all. I started taking my antihistamines in the middle of February because we've had a very mild winter here, a very kind winter, and everything's going to come out early, and so far my chest is pretty clear as can be, because with COPD you're never going to be completely clear, are you? Another thing that I've been up to is singing for lung health. I've been interested in that for a while. There's a lot of groups that have sprung up around here with the idea that if you do some singing, that will help in some way your chest. And the idea appealed to me, even though I'm the worst singer in the world. I live in the land of song, but I wasn't born in the land of song. I hope that some would rub off on me, but no, it hasn't rubbed off on me yet. But I sent off to the British Lung Foundation here in the United Kingdom, and I came away with one of these. I'll show you the other side too. That's it, that's better, that's the right way around. You can read that now, can't you? I sent off for one of those because I went along to a group. I'm hoping to go along more. I had a listen to them. I looked up the theory and thought that sounds absolutely brilliant. They told me about the CD. I sent the CD and I have never looked back in the couple of weeks I had the CD. Get one if you're if you're in the UK. I don't know if you could get one if you're outside the UK, but if you Google singing for breathing, the British Lung Foundation, then their page will come up and you will have a chance to order it. There is a charge for it. It cost me £12.50 with the postage and handling charge here in the UK, but it was money well spent. So what did it do? Well, when you start it, it gives you an introduction, and that's by the way, isn't it? It then teaches you relaxation techniques, and then goes up to warm-up techniques, and then you start to do some practicing, and it's teaching you about breathing with singing, because to sing you've got to breathe. You think about it, you see these singers on stage and they seem so relaxed and they make things look so easy, and you think, well, you must have an absolutely natural talent. And when you listen to this, you realise they maybe not have had a natural talent. They've learnt it. They may be been to someone who's taught them how to sing properly. Singing properly involves breathing properly, because to sing is the air coming out of your body past your vocal cords. So how do they do it? Well, they don't sing from the chest. Us COPDers, we breathe from our chest. Now this doesn't make sense, does it? Because in my case, the worst part of my lungs is the top third. The holy, the spaghetti, they're useless. But the 2/3 below it isn't as bad. In fact, it's the 2/3 below where I need the air to get. But of course, if I'm breathing through the top part of me, it's not happening. The top, I'm getting a little bit of air in because I'm breathing through the chest, and the top part is having to deal with the air, get the oxygen into my body, whereas the the bit at the bottom, the 2/3 at the bottom, they're getting very little of it, and they're not getting any exchange. And so you're not getting the CO2 out either. It's not a good story. And singing for lung health, this changes that by getting you to use your abdomen. And it's your abdomen where the bottom of your lungs is, as you draw in your abdomen all the way into the spine, then and let it out, then air is rushing in and it's going to the bottom of your lungs. And it teaches you to do this. It's very effective. Now, don't underestimate the exercises if you do get one of these, or if you do go singing for lung health, because the exercises had me aching as though I'd been weightlifting. And that sounds absolutely incredible, doesn't it? That you can do that, I felt it's bad, and I thought, oh, shall I give it a rest for a day? No, because the advice is to do it every day, and the reason is that your body needs to remember the instructions to breathe properly from the abdomen. And you will find when you've been doing it for a few weeks, when you get out of breath, and I found when I get out of breath, I automatically breathe in through the abdomen as far as I can go, and out slowly as I can, and I get my breath back much, much quicker. Now that's worth doing, isn't it? Much, much quicker. This is absolutely marvellous exercise for the less mobile. Particularly if you suffer from severe or very severe, such as I'm one of the less mobile. I use a scooter to go out and about. I can't run, I can't walk far, I can't do a lot. Most things are done from a chair, and this is marvellous if you are mainly indoors. If you're mainly indoors, I would strongly advise that you start it, because you are going to feel a million times better. Now, to give you an idea, yesterday I didn't particularly feel like doing my 30 minutes of singing, but I've got to do it because this is part of it, and I started to do it. By the time the half hour had finished, I felt absolutely marvellous. I felt more alive. My eyesight seemed to have got sharper. Everything was better. And what this is because I've been doing this singing, which forces your abdomen in and out. I'd been doing better exchange within my body. I was oxygenating better. I was getting rid of the CO2 better, which is most important. And so my whole physiological body, and I probably spelled that wrong, is right. It was good. So have a go. You're going to feel wonderful, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to your stories about singing for lung health. Anyway, has anybody got any questions? I sometimes think, what should I talk about next? Now, I've got a huge memory of COPD because I've had it for 31 years now. I've gone through the whole lot, and I've dealt with many things. I've also got a help website, help COPD site, where I learn lots of things myself, and there must be things that maybe you want to know. If there is, drop me a line. You could drop me a line at derek.cummings at yahoo.com. That's derek.cummings at yahoo.com. And I'll have a look at your questions, and if you've got any questions, keep an eye out. I may put one of them on here. Anyway, it's bye-bye for now. Breathe easy. I'm off for a cup of tea, and I'm going to do a little bit of singing. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.